Pastor Kevin here on Saturday morning, reading about Jesus' crucifixion in light of this whole week about reading of healing and what Jesus brings for us. I share these words from N.T. Wright on the middle of page 89. Never let it be said that the Christian faith is an airy-fairy thing, all about having wonderful inner spiritual experiences and not about the real world. This story takes us to the very heart of what Christianity is all about. And here we meet close up and raw the anger and bitterness of the world, doing its worst against one who embodies and represents the love of the Creator God himself. And now, how do we respond as we stand and watch this shocking, tragic, and yet deeply healing event? That's a question that Wright gets to, is how do we respond to this reality of dealing with the world's pain and facing it head on like Jesus does. Wright shares earlier in this reading about just how these soldiers who were mistreating Jesus have been under maybe treatment of what we would call terrorists nowadays, people trying to take down the Roman power. Jewish rebel forces were trying to go against them. So of course they would be against Jesus, mocking him, having an opportunity to mock someone who might be deemed the king of such rebel authorities. And then Wright presents this idea that the throne that Jesus will occupy is in fact the cross. The throne that James and John earlier had asked if they could sit on his right and his left, that throne is a cross occupied by two criminals. And what Wright does amazingly in this text is point out to us that that within this passage there are echoes and enactments of the Sermon on the Mount happening. Jesus is struck on the face and he doesn't retaliate. His cloak is taken and he doesn't fight back. He is the light of the world, shining like a city on a hill. All those images from Matthew 5 and the Sermon on the Mount. And what we see here is the forgiveness that Jesus is going to offer and the healing for the world, and how he faces evil right in the face and will deal with it for all of us. Thanks be to God.